Due to some technical difficulties, this evening, the commencement of the Holy Shabbat, Friday, the 29th of March, in the year of our Lord 2019, with the time now standing at precisely 12 minutes past 7 p.m. in the evening here in the United Kingdom. I welcome you by saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you, depending on where you are on the face of this very planet, because we are Biafrans. We can be found across the entire 24 time zones of the world, and this is a broadcast that is indeed truly global in every sense of the word. Wherever you are on this planet Earth, you must be able to listen and receive Radio Biafra this evening. Unfortunately, we are not live on Facebook, but we are on every other platform associated with this very divine project. We are on www.radiobiafra.co. I repeat, www.radiobiafra.co. We are on ipob.org. Radio Biafra is also on Biafra Telegraph.co. I hasten to add, Biafra Telegraph.co. We are on CHK 102.2, 102.1, 103.3, depending on where you are. And as I welcome you, allow me to also ask you to welcome other people around you as well. You must congregate around your listening device. If you have friends and relatives who are struggling and do not know how to access Radio Biafra, try and help them to be able to do so. Because this evening we will continue our forensic expose of the very ridiculous and pathetic ruling by Binta Nyako, and as a consequence, expose the judiciary, the laughable judiciary of the damnable Zoological Republic. The world must listen and understand that here on Radio Biafra we speak the truth, always and regardless of the personal cost and the consequences to us. That was the oath we took, and that is what we shall continue to do every blessed day until Biafra is restored, and even beyond. Before we proceed any further, we must pray and hand over our proceedings to Chukwokika Biama Promi Henine, especially given that this very evening is the commencement of the Holy Shabbat. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, and by the grace of Elohim, I will continue to serve the wonderful people of Biafra up unto the restoration of Biafra, as I have agreed with Chukwokika Biama in heaven. I welcome you once again, and we must pray. We must pray. Wherever you are, you must bow down your head. The reason why Biafra is a phenomenon globally, the reason why we continue to wax very strong regardless of the machinations of the enemy, is because Chukwokika Biama is with us. Is because this very mission is divinely ordained. There is nothing they can do, nothing they can do to stop the restoration of Biafra. We must pray this very evening, and as we hand over all that we are to the loving arms of Chukwokika Biama, wrapped in his grace, we ask him to destroy every plan of the enemy. O Elohim, who art thou in heaven, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. We extol thee because your glory is above the heavens. You created everything that was made. There is nothing in creation that you did not create. You will judge the righteous, and you will be angry with the wicked. Your anger will descend upon the zoo. They will know no peace. There will be no mercy. The same way I called upon your holy name on this very hallowed platform, and I said, if Britain doesn't repent, you will tear them to pieces. The same thing is happening today, and I call upon thee, that you will destroy the damnable zoological republic in your anger, because they have brought death and destruction upon the lives of your children, upon the lives of those that you sent into the darkest recesses of Africa, that light may come where once there was only darkness. You have prepared a table for us before our enemies. That is why they cannot do anything to us. You will destroy the persecutors of IPOB. You will destroy all those that persecute your children, both external and the enemies within. Iniquity shall not prevail in the land of Biafra. Those of them that dug pits for us, today they have fallen into it. You have destroyed the work of the enemy. Darkness cannot have any hold over Biafra. Those that make mischief must return upon their own heads. They must fall on their sword. Those that deal violently with us must meet a violent end. But as for we shall praise Elohim all the days of our life, because you are a righteous God. We shall sing praises unto your name in the land of Biafra, that every children born to a Biafran anywhere on this very planet, as long as man inhabits it, shall remember your grace upon our lives in this very time, that every adoration, honor, and glory shall belong to your holy name, now and forevermore, we pray. He said, we must continue this very important broadcast, which was rudely interrupted yesterday because the enemies of Biafra did not want us to broadcast. But we are here this very evening broadcasting because that is the right thing to do. We have no other choice than to broadcast, and that is exactly what we are determined to do, and we must continue to do it until Biafra is restored and beyond. The travesty and the judicial stupidity that passed for Binta Nyako's ruling regarding my non-appearance in court continues to dominate every aspect of news discourse in the zoo and beyond. What is happening in my case and the case of our brethren, those who are charged alongside me, is a microcosm of everything that is wrong with the zoo judiciary. The Nigerian judiciary, there is no judiciary in Nigeria. What you have is cash and carry judges. They enter the courtroom with 2 envelopes, depending on how they feel, depending on who the highest bidder is, they deliver a judgment accordingly. The level of ignorance of the law in Nigeria is such that I pity those who are in all likelihood going to come into contact with them. These are the facts the Alamajiri legal system that you have in the zoo must be made aware of. I know they're all listening tonight, and I implore them to listen attentively. They should stop wasting their time. I am not a Nigerian. I renounced my Nigerian citizenship nearly 4 years ago. Therefore, the silly and idiotic bail revocation is completely meaningless to me. Completely meaningless to me. If I am not a citizen of the damnable Zoological Republic, there is no way you can try me in your useless courts, because I have not committed any crime. All those with me did not commit any crime. The agitation for the restoration of Biafra is anchored on international law. We have not committed any crime. If anything, it is the Nigerian state that must and will be held accountable for all the destruction, the murder, the kidnappings, the massacre, day in, day out of Biafrans whose only crime is to come out on the streets to agitate legitimately for what rightly belongs to them. There was nothing like Nigeria before the white man came. Now that the white man is gone, as we are led to believe, there will be nothing like Nigeria. All those wishing and hoping to use the warped legal system in the zoo to corral we Biafrans into a position of concession without getting our core demand, which is our freedom, you are all wasting your time. The only thing you can ever do is to publicize our effort for us. Your revocation of bail, the sham trial, the kangaroo court presided over by Binta will never ever hold. They can never ever convict us because we have done nothing wrong. It may come to some of you who are not educated as a surprise, but there is no crime in Nigerian Penal Code called secession. Secession is not a crime in Nigeria. It is not a crime anywhere in the world. Only armed rebellion is a crime, not self-determination. Self-determination is not a crime. When Yoruba media try to bamboozle you into believing that asking for Biafra is a crime, you must go back to them and tell them that self-determination was ratified by Nigeria as contained in the African Charter for Human and People's Rights. We have committed no crime. That is why Binta Nyako will not hear this case. That is why Binta Nyako keeps running away from establishing a prima facie where it would have been proven beyond every conceivable doubt that no crime was committed. Binta Nyako, in her sham court, under a quasi-Sharia legal system, is embarking on a judicial suicide because they will never succeed. And this very case will ruin her, and it will ruin and break the zoo judicial system. That very corrupt judicial system will collapse as a result of this very case. It was a very clever trap that they have walked into. They have forgotten one thing, that I am in Britain, soon to return to Israel. Every move they make, I will challenge. I have instructed my lawyers, we will challenge. In a competent court of law here in Britain, where law actually works, I am waiting for them. Instruct Interpol. Any day you instruct Interpol, that same day, I will take Interpol to court. And they must answer. Because here is a civilized country. They are not animals like you have in Nigeria in the zoo, in the damnable zoological republic. Because they don't know the law. They don't understand the law. They don't know how the law works. So you think if you are in your court being powered by a generator, you have no light, there is no running water, you can sit down and make internationally binding judicial pronouncements? Is that what you think? We are learned people, highly educated, I assure you. Every pronouncement in the zoo, every move the cabal makes, every move being orchestrated in the name of Jubil al-Sudani, designed to slow down this unstoppable march towards Biafra restoration, shall fail. If you're doing it to demoralize us, you have failed. You will never, ever succeed. Have that in mind. Have that in mind. I have heard some badly educated analysts, mostly of Yoruba extraction, talking their usual nonsense because they have been enslaved to the Fulani forever and ever. Because they are too cowardly, they cannot fight for the return of Ilorin. Kwara State is gone from them. And they want us to be like them. And we are saying, we can never be like you. Fulani dominate and control Hausa. They dominate and they control Yoruba. Because half of Yoruba is Muslim, they're Islam. But we are Biafrans. They will never, ever overrun us. Write it down somewhere and note today's date. They will never, ever overrun Biafra land. It is impossible. Everything Binta Nyako is doing to accelerate the domination of Biafra land by Fulani people will never, ever work. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Every decision they take, every move they make, I am going to challenge in the law courts of Britain. And maybe you don't know how law works in Britain. Once you present a case before a judge, everything concerning, relating to, or attached to that very case must be ventilated in public. So whoever advised Binta Nyako to revoke my bail has done her and the zoo a great disservice, and I welcome it wholeheartedly. First, I am not a zoo citizen. Your idiotic bail revocation will never ever work. If you were interested in law, in due process, any right-thinking person would have first of all asked the army what they were doing in my house. You never did. You never asked. Because you have no conscience. Because the zoo judiciary, or should I say the judicial system, doesn't work. You don't revoke somebody's bail or issue bench warrant when you ask your army to go and kill that very person. Does that make sense to you or to any human being? Binta Nyako till this very day has not even defined the crime they say that I have committed. Because, as I said earlier, under their own criminal code, secession is not a crime. If there is anywhere it's written, Yoruba journalists will never tell you this. Your half-baked lawyers in the zoo can never tell you this. Because they are ignorant of the law. Because by nature they are ignorant people. Ask them if there is anywhere it is written down in any statute that secession is a crime. It is not a crime. When a policeman arrests our people for wearing Biafra paraphernalia, or the Zoo Army come out to kill us, they are doing so out of monumental ignorance and the fact that they want to intimidate us. They want to put fear in us. But we are IPOB. We are not afraid of anybody. That is why we continue to go forward. That is why we continue to agitate. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how many people you have brought over. It doesn't matter how much money you have given to the corrupt brown envelope media in the zoo. We continue to move forward because we are IPOB. We don't relent and can never ever relent. Tonight, they must ask themselves this simple question: which crime did Nnamdi Kanu and his co-defendants commit? Which crime did we commit? Somebody should name it. Because secession is not a crime. But because they are lazy, because they are not properly educated, because they are badly tutored in law school, they don't understand this very simple fact that there is no crime called secession in the laws of Nigeria. They don't know this. Even Binta as a judge doesn't know. That is how sad it is. I would have thought it is beholden on anybody presiding over such a high-profile case to do a little bit of research. Do some research. You cannot go to a Sharia school, come out and go to a Sharia court, and you come out and you're the Chief Justice of the Federation. You don't know anything about common law. This is called common law. You cannot prosecute somebody for doing something that you have already ratified in your own law. The African Charter for People and Human Rights, you have ratified, and there it is explicitly clear. People have the right to self-determination. Is it that you don't understand English language, or you're finding it difficult to comprehend it? What is wrong with these people? Nigerians, I keep asking myself. Are they that stupid and that daft? Asking for Biafra is not a crime. Therefore, your revocation, your arrest warrant, whatever nonsense you call it, cannot hold any water. If it comes before a judge in the Western world, you become the laughingstock. They don't understand this, but we must educate them. We must enlighten them because they are not capable of reasoning. We have committed no crime. Secession is not a crime. Request for a referendum is not a crime. People in Quebec, in Canada, are doing it. Here in Scotland, they are doing it. And also, to a limited extent, in Spain, they are doing it. Referendum is legal, it is valid, and it can never break any law. Asking somebody to refer a very thorny question regarding the sovereignty of a nation to a people to decide where they wish to belong to can never ever be a crime. Self-determination is not a crime. I am therefore at a loss to understand why Binta Nyako is allowing this case to move forward. If the intention of the Fulani Janjaweed bench warrant issued yesterday is to get me to stop exposing Jibril al-Sudani, then not only is Binta Nyako mistaken, but the entire Fulani cabal is embarking on one hell of an expensive exercise in futility, I assure you. I will redouble my efforts to ensure that the impostor from Sudan is driven away from office in disgrace. The whole world knows. All the meetings that I go to, I tell foreign government officials, I tell them, you know that Buhari is dead, that Jubril is there. All they do is to look at me and say, but Nigeria has independence. It's their matter to determine or to decide who sits in Asarok, not the Western world. That's what they tell me. Who doesn't know that Buhari is dead? If by the issuing of this bench warrant you're trying to stop me from exposing Jubril, then you have failed. Because you don't know how I react to issues. You don't know how I reason things through. You don't know how I react in adversity. I am destructively stubborn. That thing you think that if you do it to me somehow, I will capitulate, that is when you're emboldening me the more. That is when you're giving me more strength. That is when you are most likely to see how determined that I am. You cannot intimidate me. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. It is the Nigerian state that is populated by cowards. You're not ashamed of yourselves that you came to the house of an unarmed man, Elisia Mafaruku, with fighter jets, helicopter gunships, and a battalion of Nigerian army. DSS, everybody, police, everybody came. Imagine when I'm armed, what you will do. And that time is coming. I say my own openly. It is coming. If you like, issue your bench warrant from now till thy kingdom come. It will never ever stop me from doing the work that Elohim asked me to do. That the zoo must fall. That zoo must collapse, it must fall. And the name Nigeria will no longer exist. That I can assure you. My devotion to the absolute and puritanical, I said puritanical, pursuit of the total restoration of the sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra is unwavering. Unwavering. There is nothing anybody can do to dissuade me from pursuing this very noble path that Chukwukika Abiyama has set before me. Nothing. Binta Nyako and her fellow Fulani handlers, because the all Fulani is a Fulanized country. You know, Yoruba will not say anything because half of them are Muslims. They are aligned with Fulani and they always will. They must understand one thing about me. You cannot stop me. If you didn't stop me when I was in the zoo, is it now that I'm free, traveling all over the world, that you're going to stop me? Of course not. You didn't succeed then. You are not likely to succeed now. Common sense dictates that before you send anybody to jail for whatever reason, you first investigate the circumstances that may have led to that person not being available. It's common sense. You asked, you're waiting for somebody rang you to say, I am coming to see you. And unfortunately, they failed to arrive. Isn't the next logical step to ask what happened? Let us find out what happened to that very person, why they are late, or why they failed to make it in the first place. This is simple common sense and not even a question for the final interpretation of the law. It's simple common sense. If I give bail to somebody, and for some reason they fail to appear in court, the next logical question, rather than this nonsense of where are the shorties? I'll send them to jail. Let them forfeit the